Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Today I'm sharing with you day 16 of our hashtag AJOS Peculiar Persona Art Journaling Challenge. This is a daily art journal prompt for the Art Joy of Sharing art community. If you haven't joined us yet over on Facebook in the community, you can use the link below the video to come and ask to join. Make sure that you answer the 3 questions that pop up or we will not accept you. So this day, the prompt was Leander Loyalton. Now, our prompts for this year are names, and they're names of characters, and you base your character, what you think your character might be, based on what the name sounds like to you. This is interpreted by you. There are no wrong or right answers. You don't have to even do the prompt if you don't want to. We just are encouraging you to do daily art journaling because it's good for you, and it's a good way to practice your creative thing, and get something done and do something, and it's good for you. So we're doing characters. So I've listened to the prompt. Leander Loyalton sounded like loyal to me was the main word in there, the main concept in there. And to me, the most loyal thing, the most loving creature on this planet is a dog. They say dogs are man's best friend. And after not having one for years and then rescuing a dog almost 2 years ago, she has made such a difference in our life for every person in the family in different ways. We have a large amount of people living here, 2 elderly people, a sick person, and me, and my kid as well, who's an adult child. We have a lot of people, and each one of us has interacted with that dog in a different way, and she is just amazing. She is so loving, and she's so interested in listening to you and wanting to hang out with you and cuddle. She's awesome. So I decided that Leander Loyalton must be a dog. So I had seen these cute caricatures on Pinterest when I was scrolling through the other day of animals that had really large eyes and really small bodies. There's that whole thing about making small bodies and large heads. Caricatures are ways to draw an illustration that is something that you recognize, but it's something is if the proportions are off. Like there's even caricatures of people that you recognize that person. Maybe it's Jay Leno with his big chin, or maybe it's you recognize who it is, but yet nothing is in proportion. So the easiest way to do a caricature is to make a large head and a small body, and that's what a lot of caricature artists do because it looks funny, but yet you can still recognize what it is. So I decided to do one of those type of a characters where it's got big eyes, big nose, and then a really small little body. You can still tell it's a dog. You can probably even tell that it's a caricature of maybe a Chihuahua or something like that, but it doesn't look realistic. So that's what I was planning on putting on my page. What I started with, however, is some collage. This piece of deli paper has been used as the tuck-in paper to keep my other pages clean in my book. And those pages get different paint and stuff on them. They're textural because when you're going around the edge of the page, you're getting your stuff all over that under paper. That's the whole point of it. I love using this type of stuff. It's so fun to me because collaging that on gives you this abstract, scratchy, colored background without too much effort. So I put a couple pieces of those on with some Liquitex matte gel medium. And then I also put on some gesso at the top mixed with a little bit of that yellow that I like to use, Naples yellow, and also white. Put some of that on, and then I did some mark making, scratching into the paint, which is kind of fun when you're doing an abstract type of an idea. And that is my background. I could have done some more stuff, put some more layers on it, some more stencils or something, but I really just wanted to get to my drawing today. I wanted to make this cute little character, that was what I was excited about. So I went on to that. I'm using a Lowell Cornell drawing graphic pencil, and I have a white eraser there to erase my lines. I gave this a really good dry though. I know I cut out part of the drying time because you don't want to watch me drawing something with a heat tool, but I really did make sure it was good and dry so that I would be able to maybe erase a little bit. If you just dry the top layer of the acrylic paint, but there's still wet underneath, then when you put a pencil down, you make a ditch, and then when you're trying to erase, you have a ditch, and you can't get all the erasing done. So when I draw, I usually draw in pencil, and then I go over it with black pen later, because I don't have enough confidence in my drawing skills to just straight out draw it with a pen. I need to practice that more. There's actually another challenge going on from another guy about illustration that's called Inktober. You guys might have heard of that, where it's all about drawing in ink. And that's really just what the whole thing is. Every day you draw in ink. But it terrifies me. So I draw in pencil first. If I don't like the lines, I erase. And I don't know if I'll ever stop doing that. But I got my little graphite guy drawn on there. I decided to paint today with acrylic paint. I have some DecoArt Fluid Media Paint, which is in the color quinacridone gold. And then I have some Liquitex Basics, titanium white, and some Amsterdam. Gosh, that color is Van Dyke brown. Van Dyke brown. So that's like a dark, cool brown. And I'm using these three colors to paint. I've got a crappy acrylic brush, and then I also get out a smaller brush because I realized that the original brush I picked was not going to be able to let me get all the way down to the tips of those ears. And so I grabbed another. I keep my brushes separated. I have my nice watercolor brushes that I don't ever use in acrylic, and then I have my acrylic brushes from nice to crappy, and then I have my glue the brushes that have now gone into glue brushes because they're so crappy that they are only good for glue. I don't know. I don't seem to have very good luck with taking care of my brushes. I also don't buy very expensive ones, with the exception of some of my watercolor brushes were pretty dang expensive for just a dumb little brush. Some bristles on the end of a stick, you know. But it makes a difference in watercolor because you really have to get a brush that can absorb a lot of water into the top part of the ferrule and then distribute it out, and also has such a nice taper that it can go from thin to fat. And you can, I mean, there's a whole thing about watercolor brushes. My acrylic brushes, you know, I don't care as much. So I have a lot of them, and I have whatever. So I'm using two different brushes. One of them is a flat brush, so it's got a straight edge at the end. And then the other one is a round brush, which comes more to a point at the end. I am using the quinacridone gold is the main color, and then I'm using that Van Dyke to make a shadow on the left-hand side and also under anything that would stick out. And then I'm using the white, of course, for the eyes and things, but then also as a highlight color on the right-hand side, as if the light source is coming from the right. And it just gives it more dimension. It makes something more interesting if you do try to think about light source and highlights and shadows. So then I mix a little bit of that quinacridone and white together, and I make this dog into a spotted dog. Originally, it was supposed to be kind of a Chihuahua. It's got the sort of the ears of a Chihuahua, sort of, but I decided it would look cuter if it had spots. And there are long-haired spotted Chihuahuas. I've seen them in pictures. So it's not a long-haired though. But anyway, who knows what kind of dog it is? Probably a mutt, a mixed dog, and all the better. I absolutely think that there's no reason to have a purebred dog unless you're going to be someone who shows or breeds dogs. Otherwise, mutts are just as nice. So it's not a big deal. My dog that we adopted almost 2 years ago is a palm chi, we think. I mean, we got her from the adoption, so nobody really knows, but she has the Chihuahua face, sort of, and but then she has longer hair, and she gets quite a lot of a rough, like a thicker amount of hair around her neck sometimes. So that would be the Pomeranian. So Palm Chi. She's also the color of a Pomeranian, kind of that golden red color. So that's what we think. We don't know. We don't know how old she is or what breed she is without doing that doggy DNA thing, which would be kind of fun but kind of weird, you know. We don't really need to know. So there's a little bit of this turquoise color, one of my favorite acrylic paint colors, and I think it's called light teal maybe. Um, Not an expensive paint. It's Liquitex Basics paint. I just like the color, and so I made the collar that color, and then I made like a little plastic clip and a little hook where you would hook the tags onto. So then I am using a medium tip black Posca pen. This is a paint pen that has acrylic paint in it. Posca, P-O-S-C-A. You know, I'm a big fan of these pens. I love them. They write over any type of acrylic or actually any mixed media, they'll write over the top. They sometimes get a little bit of a splatter, as you will see when I do some other stuff here. I got out a brand new fine tip, and because the background is collaged, and because I'm using that under paper, it's got some matte medium on it. It's got layers of stuff on it, and so it's bumpy. And then when you hit a bump, you might get a little bit of splatter, but I don't really care. Posca pens are awesome. So anyway, I use the medium all around the dog, which makes a fatter line, of course, than the fine tip ones I normally use. I drew an illustration line around everything. I didn't try to make it into a painting. It's definitely an illustration, so it's got lines all around. Then I wrote my quote: "A dog is the only thing on earth that loves you more than himself." And I really think that that's true. And so I wrote my quote in like a light blue Posca pen. This is again a medium tip because there is some blue colors as well as that teal color. So I'm going back over and making all my lines fatter. I do turn the book upside down for some of this because the Posca pen dries really quick, but it doesn't dry instantly, especially not over a sealed surface. So if I was to be trying to write that whole thing and then come back up to the top and start my outlining or start my thickening of the lines, I would be putting my arm right into the paint. So if you turn it upside down and work the other direction, you've already written the quote, so you don't need to be worried about anything other than them just being shapes. And you can do your fine lining around it, which I'm using a brand new, fresh packaged, opened fine tip. And I am getting a little bit of splatter. In the close-ups, you'll probably be able to see where I get an occasional splat, little, I don't know. I'm not concerned. Nothing is supposed to be perfect on this. It's fun and whimsical and original. It's my writing, it's not stickers or anything, so I'm not worried about that. I hope you guys have been enjoying this challenge. Been making a video every single day in the month of October, and I hope that you guys have joined in to the challenge. If you haven't, you still can. We love to see what you make in your art journal or in whatever you're doing if you're using our challenges. We just say use the hashtag if you post it, and we'll be able to see it and like it and comment on it, all those things. If you did like this video, please do all the things. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment or question, subscribe, turn on your notification bells. All those things help my channel grow by helping other people think that I have something valuable for them to watch. And well, actually, it's the algorithm from YouTube, which tells other people I have something valuable if other people like it. So that's how social media works. So the last little thing I did is I did color some red in kind of a sloppy way, trying to make it look maybe like a little bit like crayon over the words "dog loves you." And I put on some pink hearts. I wrote Leander on the collar. That's it for me for today. Thanks. Bye bye.